At SheCan, we tell women's stories. We interview women from all over the world to hear their stories, how they got to where they are today, because it's easier to be what you can see. And I'm really delighted to interview Lauren Anderson today. Lauren, you're in South Africa. You're the co-founder and CEO of the Koa Academy, a high engagement online school for grades 4 to 12, which you funded with your husband in 2021, which obviously is a really important time. You provide an IEB accredited education that truly prepares young people for the real world by connecting them to the best global online resources while maintaining high levels of socio-emotional learning and fostering a high engagement environment. Tell us more about yourself and what you do.
Great, thank you so much. And yeah, thank you for having me today. I love how you say it's easier to be what you can see. And I spent a bit of time watching some of your other interviews and yeah, was so just motivated through seeing them. So thank you so much. I've really been in the business world. This is now for 3.5 years. And before that, my background's actually in nursing. So I studied way back as a nurse, but then I always worked more in I love leadership, I love managing projects or programs, and always just find myself rather in leadership or managerial sort of situations. And over sort of my career, eventually ended up working a lot more in health systems rather than in seeing patients themselves. And I was, you mentioned sort of 2021, 2020, that's obviously around COVID and where the whole world seemed to move online. And at that time, I was working for an incredible organization that worked very closely with our Department of Health. And I was overseeing a training team at the time. And we provided a lot of training for the Department of Health during COVID. So an incredible opportunity to be really equipping healthcare workers who were needing quickly updated access to education. And so I led a team there where we were providing quick updates on latest evidence that was coming out, and really reaching staff that were working in very remote areas. And sort of through that, just loved the idea of being able to get quality education into the hands of anybody, anywhere, which is really a lot of the driving force for Koa Academy. And then you mentioned that myself and my husband founded Koa together. And it's always funny, we tell the story of even in our dating days, so before we even started dating, like right at the beginning of starting to date, we used to have very romantic dates where we would draw up agendas and chat through online learning. We both just love the idea, again, that thing of quality education and having a good educator, being able to reach anybody with good education. And so I think during COVID, where let's say everything suddenly was accessible online, suddenly gave us the opportunity to start dreaming about what we'd spoken about so many years before. And between Mark, who's my husband, and I, we'd bought like numerous URLs over the years, going like, one day we're going to launch some sort of online business. We didn't quite know what it was, but some sort of online learning business. And so we own numerous URLs. And then when the time came, it just, we were able to bring together what we've been dreaming about for so long. And the time really was right to be able to launch, Koa as a school. And it says for grades 4 to 12, but a purely online school.
So tell us a bit more about Koa Academy. You've launched it. How does it work? How many students do you have? What's your offering?
Yeah, correct. So When we launched Koa, we started in month one with 12 students. And so we were tiny when we launched, and literally Mark left his job to start Koa. I carried on in my job for the first while, just waiting to see what was going to happen. And we very quickly, sort of like month on month, we just grew, sort of mainly through word of mouth at that point. And we're now sitting on 530 students. So we sort of the 3.5 years in, and we employ just reached 50 staff members. So yeah, I have grown from 1 staff member and 12 students to 50 staff members and 530 students. And we provide full online schooling. So, and it's for grades 4 up until matric. So our matrics get a IEB certificate, which is a South African, but it's internationally recognized school leavers certificate. And so our students don't attend physical school at all. They attend all of the lessons, everything online. Our big sort of driving thing is we're not just school on a screen. We don't believe you can just take traditional schooling models and put them onto a screen and expect them to work. And our big word is around engagement. So we believe that learners really learn when they are well engaged with both the people that they're learning with and the material that they're learning from. So we really try to create that space, a space where learners feel valued, where they feel part of the experience. So we have like all of our classes, there are only 8 students in a class. We call them a pod. So a pod of 8 students together. And our rules are cameras on, mics on. If your camera's off, then you get marked as absent. You have to come and show up and be part of what's happening in the school. And that 8 students on a screen is, if you've got 8 on a screen, everyone can be seen, everyone can be heard, everyone can be part of the learning experience, which we really believe to be key to learning online.
How amazing is this, Lauren, and what you have achieved is incredible. What do you credit this success to?
Yeah. So, I think that there are obviously a few parts to it. The 2 things that would come to mind straight away for me, the one is our team that we've built. We have a phenomenal team that we work with and incredible buy-in. And I think it probably leads to being able to speak vision and get people to buy into your vision. Probably my number one characteristic that I love in staff that we employ is when they buy into what we do. And we have so many of our staff who really, really do. They love what we're doing at Koa. They love the experience of teaching at Koa. So that's definitely one of it, is our team that we've built and the way that we've built our team. Really couldn't do it without them. And then the second would definitely be, so we, when we launched Koa, we've had a few investors come on board who've given us investment at different points, and we've really had phenomenal investors. So, and they have been so instrumental in just supporting us along the way. So both for Mark and I, Mark's background is in education, so he'd been working at a school before. I'd always been employed before, and we jumped into this entrepreneurial journey, knowing not very much about business. We have learned a lot over the last number of years, but really having, so not just our investors, but sort of a group of other people in a similar place in their journey to us in different, so not necessarily in education, but in different businesses, but being able to give input and really sort of bounce ideas off, and it fast tracks you incredibly when you can learn from other businesses. So just like people that are very generous with their knowledge and their time have definitely been instrumental for us.
You had real impact investors that gave you their knowledge and their investment, which is really
Absolutely.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lauren, so what do you feel are your top qualities that you bring to the table and that serve you every day in leading the Koa Academy?
Yeah. So I'm glad you asked this, because it's not always at the top of my mind, but we actually were out for dinner with friends over the weekend, and we asked each other the question at the table. And I actually said, I think my best quality is my ability to sort of form a team of people who are really good at what they do, and get the best out of them. And so when I distilled it, I was like, I love being able to tell other people what to do, but they need to be, but they need to be really good at what they do. So I thrive on having a team that is highly skilled and then providing direction and bringing that together. So bringing that team together, giving them direction, and then allowing them to go and do what they do best. Yeah, is really, I think, what my strength is.
Which is a great strength, Lauren. And I'm wondering if you can expand a little bit on the two sides of the coin, the ups and downs. What are your pitfalls? How do you navigate them? And what are the achievements and how do you celebrate them?
Yeah, great question. So I think in terms of the challenges and the pitfalls, I think starting your own business is one long series of challenges, one challenge after another. And there have been many of them. I think, yeah, and especially at the beginning, I think we've finally got to a point where things have settled. We've hit some good milestones with the business and that things have settled a bit. And I mean, I say that now, and I know in a few days' time, the next big challenge will come its way. But those beginning stages really are a roller coaster of sort of ups and downs. So, yeah, and probably for us, right at the beginning of setting up Koa, we really said we wanted to be agile in our approach. So we wanted to be able to respond to our users' needs. And we got given really good advice, just being a tech startup, and so being completely online, that the way that we built, particularly our tech that we built it in a way that was really agile and could really sort of shift and change to the feedback that we were getting from our end users or the challenges that came up. We were able to really build it in a way that spoke to our end users. So yeah, I think that's really been sort of some of the ways that we've been able to overcome challenges that come our way, is just in the way that we've built in that way. Yeah.
Lauren, and what about the achievements and how you celebrate them?
Yes. Let me think. So I think that we've really tried to build in a culture at Koa of celebrating each other and celebrating the small achievements as well as the big achievements, and sort of staff culture and how we build that is really important to us. And because we sort of nail who we are as being highly engaging, we need to make sure that our staff live that too, and that's part of who our staff are. And so like little examples, like whenever we have a staff meeting, we start out at the beginning either with a highlights of the week, or we call it a high five moment, where you can either high five another staff member, virtual high five, or a student or something that's happening. But we take time whenever we come together as a staff to be able to celebrate those those small moments. And then I think the other way one of our highlights so far, we won a tech startup competition at the beginning of this year, where I had the privilege of going up to Ghana and pitching Koa at an event in Ghana, the Mest Africa Challenge. And we ended up winning that, which was just a spectacular experience. And I think for our whole team, even though I was the one that got to go, I think acknowledging our team together and coming back and being able to go, like, this really is what like all of us have built together. So that shared experience, I think, is really important.
Congratulations, Lauren. And I think this incredible company culture that you've been able to set up and scale and also transpire to your students is really unique and very powerful. And I love that you're telling that story so I can tell the story with She Can. I'm wondering, what top tips would you give to people who are in the situation you were? I've got an idea, they're running with it, they're starting this entrepreneurial journey. What advice would you give back to them?
Yeah. And so I think, and it probably isn't going to be a surprise because it's a bit of what I've spoken to already, but it really would be that choose the people that you're doing it with well. And so pull people into what you're doing. And probably as part of that, even further than that, would be don't be afraid to hire people that are better than you in different areas, because it can be intimidating. And I think, yeah, especially as a woman CEO, hiring people that are better at you in certain areas and that know a lot more than you in certain areas, there can be something when you're the leader that could be quite intimidating. But I love hiring people that are better than me in their area of expertise, or even in areas where I'm supposed to be quite good, hiring people that are really good and not being intimidated sort of by their skill that they bring, but releasing them into that and allowing them to work in that space. And then, yeah, linked to that, we really do look to try and position people in a way where their strengths are, we're really able to access their strengths, because it motivates them in the way that they work for us too.
Yeah. Lauren, and so I'm wondering, how did you raise your investment? Because actually, you have a co-founder, of course, your husband. I've interviewed many wife and husband teams,
Really?
but also many women. And I think that the hardest thing for most entrepreneurs is to get that financing right and to access investment.
Yeah. So I think our very first investment, it was pre-seed funding. So it wasn't a lot, but it really was enough just to be able to get started. And we were lucky that there was a post, like we found an accelerator that was looking at the post-COVID world and ideas for the post-COVID world. So it was just beautifully timed. And we submitted our idea and managed to, went through an accelerator program, and as I say, got pre-seed funding at the end of that, from Enigma Ventures, who look to invest into women-led businesses. And so they gave the pre-seed funding, and then once Koa took off and it was growing, they then came in again and gave a bigger amount that allowed us then to really grow. And we've recently just closed a second round, and again, just with great investors who also really looking to make an impact. And I think, yeah, being in education and just the impact that we're able to make, I think really was appealing to them. So again, we're just really have enjoyed the investors that we've brought on.
Lauren, what an incredible story. What are your plans and goals? How are you scaling? What are the next years looking like?
Yeah, great question. So we are at the moment, in the next year, we're looking to offer Koa to translate Koa, sort of translate all of our material and dashboards and whole system to be able to provide it in other languages, and then also looking at geographic spread. So obviously, being online, we can provide education to anybody anywhere, but again, around that piece around high engagement, we believe that people also need to relate well to the content that they're being sort of in how they've been educated. So looking to really tailor it into other curricula, being able to offer outside of South Africa. So we have a number of students in other sub-Saharan, East African countries already, but we're going to look to expand that. So yeah, other languages and geographies is our next steps.
Amazing, Lauren. And if you had a magic wand and you could change one thing, what would that be?
Oh, we use this as a question that we ask our staff very often. I love the question. I would probably be something to do with, I'd love to be able to fast forward a few years and have two things available now already. I think the one is internet accessibility, just to be, I mean, and in most of our major towns, and that really isn't a problem, but we work with a number of sort of rural areas and rural schools where internet accessibility is still an issue, so that internet wouldn't be a problem at all, would be my first, and then the other, I'm sneaking in a second one. So my second one is kind of in the same way, but we're excited to see where AI and education end up. And I think that only at the beginning of some of the real value that AI can bring into the learning experience and really individualize learning for students. And I would love to wave my wand and know what's happening in 5 years' time, because I think there's going to be some exciting things there.
Lauren, I'm so grateful for you, for your story, for Koa Academy, for this incredible culture that you've set up, the incredible opportunity for students from all over to come together online. And I'm so grateful also that you've given us a positive, hopeful version of the future where AI makes a positive impact in the learning environment, because there's an enormous amount of hesitation and fear around that. So thank you so much for your time.
Great, Stephanie, thank you so much. It's been lovely to be here with you. So thank you.